Hello children. Today we are going to discuss about two processes that you already know, that is diffusion and the other one is osmosis. Okay, before that let me remind you the basics about the cells, the structure of the cell. A structure of a cell can be divided into three parts, namely cell membrane, or you also call as plasma membrane. We have nucleus and cytoplasm. We are going to discuss each one separately. Let's discuss about cell membrane or plasma membrane a little bit. Cell membrane or plasma membrane is the outermost layer of a animal cell. Whereas in case of plant cell, which is the outermost layer, cell wall is the outermost layer, and cell membrane being the second outermost layer. Okay. The main difference between cell wall and cell membrane is that cell wall is fully permeable, whereas cell membrane is semi-permeable. Okay. The cell membrane, when we talk about the cell membrane or plasma membrane, you know it is a multitasker. It provides structure for the cells and also allow movement of substances in and out of the cell. Okay, they will allow movement of substance in and out of the cell. Okay, let's recap a little bit. Let me explain to you the term fully permeable. I have already sent an audio record on this. That means it allows anything to move in and outside the cell. That is, cell wall is fully permeable. By semi-permeable we mean it permits or allows entry and exit of only some substances. That is your cell membrane. Okay, right. Now let's see how this movement takes place, right? There are two major ways of movement actually. Two ways of movement is there. The movement of material, okay? The first one is active transport. Okay, and the second one is passive transport, right? Active transport, in this case of transport of material, energy is required. Okay, in this case energy is required, whereas in case of passive transport they do not require any energy. Okay, now let me explain it to you in an easier way. You are in the top of a mountain. First case, you are in the top of a mountain, okay, and you want to bring this rock down in the ground. What will you do? You just have to push it and it will fall on its own. So these type of transport, we call it a passive transport because you do not require any energy. You just have to give a push here and it will go down on your own. Sorry, the rock will go down on its own. But let's say you want to bring the stone back up to here. What are you going to do? You're going to push it, right? And for this you are going to require energy. Yes or no? So these type of transport where energy is required, okay, that we call it as active transport. In this case, certain amount of energy is required. Okay. Now, diffusion and osmosis, right, are the two types of passive transport that we are going to discuss today. Diffusion and osmosis. And let me wrap this. Now, diffusion is nothing. By diffusion it means it's a movement of particles from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Now let me tell you what is higher concentration and what is lower concentration. In this definition, lower concentration, you know what is movement, you know what are particles. Every matter is made up of particles, then how this movement takes place. Let me give you an example in your kitchen. Your mother is cooking in the kitchen, right? She's cooking, let's say, biryani. Okay, and you are far away from the kitchen. You are in the, there's a door. There should be a door here, right? There's a door again here. You are studying in your study room. Right, I'm very bad in drawing. Anyway, you are studying in your study room. What happened after some time when the biryani is cooked? What happened? You can smell the biryani till here. What happened here exactly? The particles of the biryani, there was a lot of particles of the biryani here, right? Okay, it got diffused in the air. That means it moved from this region to the free region, that is the region of lower concentration, right? So this is a region of higher concentration where there are a lot of particles of biryani were there, and this is a region of lower concentration where there were no particles of biryani, let's say. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, another case, I'll tell you. You take a jar of water, right? And what happened? You drop a drop of, you drop of ink, let's say blue ink. Okay, what happened to the blue ink? Here, the amount of blue ink, when you drop here, in the first case here, the amount of blue ink will be more. The particles of blue ink will be more. That means here, there is higher concentration of blue ink, right? After some time, what will happen? This blue ink, and this is the area of lower concentration of blue ink. That means there is no particles. Okay, so what will happen? The blue ink will spread and move to the lower concentrated area, right? And after some time, what happened? The blue ink, the entire blue ink will get diffused, and the whole, the water will turn blue. This is diffusion. Okay. In plants, exchange of gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen takes place with the help of diffusion. You got it? Now, let's come back to another topic, that is osmosis. What is osmosis? Okay. Osmosis is also a type of diffusion, right? There's not much difference between osmosis and diffusion. It is also the movement of particle, but which particle here? I will not rewrite the statement. I'll just change some word. Okay, you see, osmosis is the movement of which particle here? In case of osmosis, it is movement of water. Okay, from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. I'll just add one term here. Through a semi-permeable membrane. It's very important. So there is this three term you have to be very clear about. Four, movement of water first. Okay, there will be movement of water here, and from where to where? From the region of higher concentration to lower concentration. That means where there is more water to the place where there is less water, and through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, let me explain it to you. Let's take a jar. This is a jar, and there is a semi-permeable membrane here. This one is a, excuse my drawing, okay, I'm not used to writing in whiteboard. Semi-permeable membrane here, and you have taken to solution of sugar and water. Here also solution of sugar and water, right? And this is solution. Okay, so this is solution of sugar and water. Okay. In this case, let's say this, in this case, is a particle of sugar that is diffused in the solution. Okay, now let's say in this case, you see this is concentrated solution. What do you mean by concentrated solution? That means the amount of solute is more, right? And this is dilute solution. You compare this, you see, for example, I always give you this example in the classroom. I want to give, let's say two of you have come to my house, and imagining it, I don't like one of you, right? Out of the two guests, I don't like one of them. So what do I do? I was about to make tang, the juice, right? So what do? In one case, I took the same amount of, I gave them the same amount of tang juice. But what I did was, in one case, I put, 3 spoons so that it becomes sweet and tasty. In the other one, for the one guest that I don't like, what I did was, I put less. I put 1, teaspoon of tang. So it tastes bad, okay? So in that case, in the first case, I have taken a concentrated solution of tang, and in the second case, I have taken a dilute solution of tang. Okay. So in this case, you see, this one is concentrated solution and this one is dilute solution. Now let's take this as A and this as B. So tell me from where the water movement will take place. From A to B, yeah, from B to A. You see here, in this case, in dilute solution, the concentration of water is more, right? Whereas here, the concentration of water is less, right? So this is the region of higher concentration of water, and there is a region of lower concentration of water. So the movement of water will take from B to A. So this process we call it as osmosis. I hope you got it. Now I will just give you 3 situations to talk about 3 solutions, that is hypotonic, isotonic and hypertonic solution. You must have read it in your book already. I'm giving you 3 difference, right? In the first case, what I did was, I took a dilute solution here, very dilute solution, and this is a cell. Inside the cell there is cell sap, there is some solution present inside the cell, okay, in the cell sap. Anyway, this is very dilute, okay, comparing to the solution inside the cell. This one is very dilute solution. That means this has high concentration of water, right? So what will happen here, where the movement will take place? From outside to the inside, and apparently the cell will start swelling, right? So this type of solution, we call it as hypotonic solution, okay. The solution is dilute solution, so the movement of water will take place from outside the cell to inside the cell. This is situation A. Now let's take situation B. In this case, I placed a cell in a solution with same concentration, okay, same concentration, okay, same concentration of water with the inside of the cell. That means this concentration of water, amount of water here and here is the same. What will happen here? There will be movement, of course, but then there won't, if it moves out, it will come inside also. That means there will be no exchange of water molecules from inside and outside. So this type of solution, we call it as isotonic solution. Now, the last one we are going to discuss, you must have guessed already. We take a cell and we take a very concentrated solution. That means comparing to the inside solution here, it is very concentrated. That means they have concentration of water is less concentration of water, right? Less amount or less particles of water, let's say. So what will happen, how the movement of water will take place? It will move from inside to outside, right? And apparently the cell will, what will happen to the cell? The cell will shrink, okay? And how it is going to shrink in animals and plant cells, that we are going to discuss later. So I hope with this video I've tried, you must have understood the concept of diffusion and osmosis. Thank you.